Hey, what's up, everybody? Will here from Flow Candy. Today, I got another breakdown for you. We're breaking down the email marketing of ColorWow. This is a brand I just started to become aware of recently. They were just acquired by L'Oreal, and the more I dove in, and the more I really liked about this brand. There's a lot of cool things going on, and one really interesting thing is they really use email marketing. They're quite effective at it. And so I'm going to break that down. And I have everything here, just so you know. You can get all of this. You can get the link here. You can get the swipe file, and I have a benchmarking them against two competitors. One would be Olaplex, which is a really well-known or a more D2C startup that does email marketing pretty well, and Redken, more legacy player. So I'm going to go through all of these brands' email marketing. I have it all pulled up. I'm going to go through the benchmarking report I have, and like I said, if you click the link in the description, you'll be able to get all of this, access all of this for free. All right, so let's jump in. I'll start with the just like benchmarking these brands, like where they're at. So traffic wise, they're pretty equal when you look at it. Olaplex is doing a little bit more. Redken is a long time. They've been around forever. They have a huge retail presence, and then there's ColorWow. So all of these businesses are doing hundreds of thousands of views every month. And if you trail it out over the past 3 months, they're doing over 1 million, which is again not like crazy volume. Like I've recently broke down Sheen. I recently broke down Popmart. I've broken down Skims. These businesses do like 5, 10, sometimes 20 million visitors in a 3 month span. But I forget what I have like for brands like Elf or Tarte Cosmetics, which I've broken down before. That I think do a little bit more traffic than this, but these guys are very much on pace. ColorWow. Frequency, this is what really stood out with ColorWow, and you'll see, I'll go through it. They send over 50, I've sort of noticed like over 50 emails a month at various times. Now, some of these could be split tests, but still, anybody doing, um, you know, over 20 a month, I would consider to have probably a pretty dialed in workflow just because it takes a lot of bandwidth to be able to deploy 20 campaigns a month, yet alone 50 campaigns a month. You need to have, um, in my opinion, you probably need to have like a full time staff doing it. Maybe they have an agency helping them. If they do, they're probably spending a lot of time on it. In terms of like the meat, well, before I get into like the actual benchmarking them, um, let's talk about the promotional sends. The promotional is probably the biggest angle or the most used hook a lot of companies use. And I'm pretty, I would say liberal with this. Like if I see, a word like buy one, get one free or get 15% off or save anything around savings, I consider that a promotional email. So I categorize them about 78% of their sends are promotional emails. But as you'll see as I get into it, it's not necessarily just they're just spamming the list. They do a lot of other stuff too because they send like 50 plus emails a month sometimes. They still deploy some of the other stuff. A lot of it's promotional though. Olaplex is sort of a more, again, they're notorious for not being so promotional. Redken is really right around where I benchmark a lot of brands, around the 40th to 50th percentile, in terms of like their emails that they send, campaigns that are promotional. In terms of tech stack, it's a very similar tech stack across all. Actually, I did this wrong. All of them are using Attentive for SMS, and let me fix it real quick. And they're using Klaviyo for email, and then I think Redken is using. I think Redken is using Salesforce. I'm not totally sure. I tried to figure it out, but yeah, they're definitely using the two challenger brands, the newcomers, ColorWow, Olaplex, using Klaviyo, and then all of them are using Attentive for SMS. So interesting tech stack breakdown. Let's jump into the emails here. So, one thing about ColorWow that's interesting is before I jump in is I want to talk about the business itself, um, like what makes it unique is, and I'll pull up it starting here in January, is and why I think they got acquired. So it is they have a little bit of a unique selling proposition. So basically, the business is really made for people or women mostly probably who have color treatment in their hair. So it's a very sort of niche specific target market in the beauty industry. And what's interesting about L'Oreal, as I did my research, is I think I don't know if it was the hair care or the treated hair care segment in their portfolio was the second fastest growing segment or market segment in their portfolio of companies in the last year, I think in 2024. So I think I read something like that. So it makes a lot of sense. Why it was acquired. Rumored to be doing a couple $100 million in revenue. This brand, it's also kind of bootstrapped too, which I found really fascinating. It's founded by an industry veteran, and her twin daughters are also heavily involved too. And yeah, I mean, and so you kind of see like she kind of has a track record, and we've seen this before. Like I recently broke down David Protein, the protein bars that are the quickest, the fastest growing, consumer good brand or valuation probably ever. I mean, they reached like a $750 million valuation in like 8 months or something like that. Um, and yes, it's a great product. The marketing is good, but also the founder previously founded RX Bar. And so, I do talk about this sometimes when I'm breaking down these brands. Like when you have a previous track record, like you've kind of learned all these. You've already been around a beauty business. You've already scaled a beauty brand. I think the founder, she founded, or she was involved in, I think John Frederica. Her name is Gail, but I think that was the brand. And I remember it when I was a kid. It was a famous hair care brand. But yeah. So I mean, we've talked about this before. When you have founders who already have a track record, how much easier it is to scale. They've just made all the mistakes already, and they know not to make those mistakes again. They know the right decisions to make, and I imagine that's what happened here with Gail. Starting with she found like a niche, like a very unique differentiator in the market, where it's like we're going to focus on people who have color treatment in their hair. So I just wanted to talk about the positioning, talk about being founder led and like the founder bit, because this stuff matters a lot when doing these breakdowns, and this stuff really helps when it comes to, you got to understand a little bit about the business to understand like why they would get acquired by L'Oreal. All right, so let's jump in here, and I benchmark them. Like I said, they're sending like 70% of their emails are um, promotional, 70% plus. But I actually benchmarked them higher than both Olaplex and Redken. And if you've never watched my videos and like seen my benchmarking process before, I consider anybody over like a 10 in the benchmarking process. Like these brands like do email marketing pretty well. Like all three of these brands, even Redken, who is again a legacy player in this category. From my experience, these brands tend to struggle with the workflow of sending out 10, 20 campaigns a month. And these challenger brands, like a brand like Olaplex that has, been founded in the last 10 years, like these are challenger brands that really thrive, and they're really able to get a sort of a leg up on the competition here. And Olaplex is sort of one of the D2C darlings. We'll go through some of their emails. It's very well crafted, way less promotions. But even still, ColorWow does a lot of the same angles they're doing. I mean, they're doing promotional emails as you go through this. All these brands are doing promotional emails. And like I said, if you don't know what a promotional email is, it's like buy one get one free, get 15% off. get 10% off if you buy this product, or get free shipping this week on. Any sort of promo, any sort of offer that's sort of bottom of funnel, middle of funnel, enticing you to purchase. It's like really showing purchase intent. I consider that a promotional email. This is by far the most popular email you'll see in e-commerce. Almost every brand is sending some sort of promotional email. Even luxury brands, like I saw like Gucci. I benchmarked them a few months ago, and they were finding ways to do what I would call a promotional email. It was only like 5 or 10%, because a lot of these luxury brands don't do it, but they were like, it was like get free shipping or something, which I would still consider a promo. Content. So let's see if we can find like a content email here. So as you can see, as I'm going through this, like this is like letter from the CEO. Or letter from the team, so they got a point for that. Team spotlight. You could even give this a text-based point. I don't even think, were they doing text-based? Yeah, they were. They did. I gave them some points for that, but this is not a text point. This is I wouldn't consider this a text-based, because I think this is an image. But this would be like a content email here. Resolution, break bad habits. I would consider this. So they got points for that. But you can see a lot of it is promotional. Flash sale. This is promotional. This is what I would consider a product focused email here. So they got a point for that, product focus. And you could go through this. I mean, there's, again, like 50 emails a month. They have collection focused emails too. This might be another content. Yeah, this is promo. I gave them a point here for FAQ or maybe social proof. Like if I see anything with like a question mark, like a more standard email might be like the whole email is an FAQ. But again, I'm pretty generous. I'll give them points if I see it. So they got a point for that. And these are great. If you're a brand and you're watching this, like, okay, like I know I get the promotional emails, but I don't want to send promo emails all the time. Like what else could I send? These we call them angles, and these are what you could be sending. Okay, so content angle emails, back in stock, FAQ, gift card, product launch, collection focus, product. So I got like a ton of these that you could sort of go through here. And like I said, when I went through the whole catalog of the past year of ColorWow emails, I benchmarked them at 18, and that's pretty good. I'll be honest with you. Like anything over like 15, I'm like, this is a brand that's really, really good. I've only benchmarked a couple brands over 20, to be honest with you. These would be like what I would call like world class brands. So anyway, like you can go through a lot of this. You can see this Chris Appleton stuff, for example, is a what I would call like a collab. So you'll see all these brands are doing collabs. I forget who Olaplex was doing. Redken is using Sabrina Carpenter. So basically, it's like a celebrity collaboration, or somebody else who has like um, basically another audience is what I sort of, to be as like broad as possible. Anybody who has another audience, where basically it's like a joint venture almost, where you can promote to their audience, and they can promote to your audience. So it's like a win-win for both sides. And probably the best brand that I've seen in the past year or two since I've been doing these breakdowns is Skims. At this, if you really want to see like elite collaboration, elite partnerships, joint ventures, whatever you want to call it, especially in email, it would be Skims. I mean, every week they're running some collaboration with a celebrity. They time it up with like key points in that celebrity's like height of awareness. Like a great example of this is with Usher in the Super Bowl this year. Usher was the halftime performance. He was the halftime act, and so Skims had timed like not only like a collaboration with Usher during like the Super Bowl, but they also built a whole collection around him. Um, so yeah, I mean, they're probably the best I've seen. But you'll see a lot of brands do this. Like, Liquid Death does this a lot. Like Liquid Death will partner with Elf. I talked about them earlier. Dr. Squatch will do like a joint venture with like Star Wars. I've seen that too. So this is a very common angle that these larger mid-market, maybe even enterprise brands are using to find ways to grow. And all of them are doing it here. ColorWow is just using stylist Chris Appleton, which I think makes sense because it's very like, again, like the target market for ColorWow is people who need like hair products for color treated hair. Typically, when you're getting your hair, dye or something, you're going to a stylist or something like that. So they're not just like partnering with any celebrity. It's like a very targeted influencer or like celebrity stylist who has like a lot of influence. So that would be theirs. Example of a collab email. Another one I wanted to find. So ingredient spotlight, trending now, and before and after. If I can find some of those, I would really like to show you those because this is really good. Some of you might be watching this and you're like, I'm actually in the beauty industry. I know ColorWow. How can I use this for inspiration for our brand or my brand? And I would try to find those. So this is a social proof email here. I give them a point for that. Anything where it's like you have press or you're featuring reviews, it's social proof. You can even say this, like, I didn't give them a point for ingredient spotlight here. I did it in another email, but this is like a sort of below the fold module on ingredient spotlight. So if you are a beauty brand, these are great emails to send to because obviously, there's tons of ingredients that go into these products, and you can highlight each one. Also, a lot of the target market is leaning towards more transparency in these products too, so they want to know like everything that's in these products. So if you're definitely some brand that's watching this that leans more towards the organic side, you definitely want to be sending those types of emails too. See, I'm trying to find the before and after because these are great emails to send. This is more promote. Also, like another thing, because ColorWow sends so many promotional emails, if you're looking for inspiration for promotions, like what offers could we do, then I would go because I went and looked at it. There's like probably like 5 or 10 different types of offers they're doing. Again, I just saw one for BOGOs. I saw one for I saw a bunch of them. So yeah, I mean that could be a good one too. All right, and here is a couple ones here. So this is the before and after that I was talking about. Here's an example of one. It's kind of like a social proof before and after with a promo. So this is a really well done. They're talking about. There's a lot of different good things about this email. Okay, so it's like literally 4 angles wrapped in one. So it's really a product focused email. So you're really focusing on the Dream Code Supernatural, but they're not just shoving the product in your face. Okay, they start off with social proof. My hair has never looked so good in humidity. That's a real problem. Anybody watching this who has long hair can attest how humidity can impact your hair. They show like what it was like before they used the product and then after. A little bit of marketing here. Then they show you the product and then they give you a special offer too. It's like, hey, if you buy a full size of the Dreamcoat Supernatural Spray, you get a free travel size. Even more social proof here with the best in style. Like tailored reviews to that product, like why Dreamcoat is a no-brainer. Review, so even more social proof. And then even more, a little bit of more offers down here, a little bit of cross-selling, a little bit of leading into charity, and then this is like the standard footer. just talking about the brand promises, like what makes it different, salon locator, shipping, socials. So this is a great email that I found from them. All there before, saw a couple of ones like this. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Like you look at it and you're like, oh, these guys send 50 emails a month. They're sending 75% of them are you benchmark will as promo. They're just spamming the list, and they really don't know email marketing. But the reality is, like, they actually really well. This is like a very well done email. And while that is true, a lot of times, like there have been brands where I've seen send like 30 emails, 30 plus emails, 40 plus emails a month, and they tend to just be blasting out promos all the time. And I've benchmarked those brands where they're below 10 sometimes, or they're right on the bubble. But this is an example of a brand that's sending a lot, doing a lot of promotional emails, but it's still sending like high level emails like this, where it's like it's nuanced, it's well thought through, and yeah, I mean this is something that again, like you don't see all of these different elements in play here a lot of times, especially for a company that has to keep up a production of 50 emails a month. Like it takes a little bit of time to think about this. You need someone to sort of strategically think this through. And a lot of times with these brands that are pumping out 30, 40, 50 emails a month, like there's not a lot of time for strategy. It's just like get it out. We got to hit revenue. That's been my experience, but these guys look like they've got it pretty down. All right, so that's it. So again, like you can get all of this, and you can look at Redken's emails, Olaplex's emails. We put it all in here, so you can access all of that in the link below. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys on the next breakdown.